Welcome to the course for HR Analytics. I assume that while recording this course, that many of the participants will be working as an HR professional, and some of the participants or many of the participants also will be there who are their student and will be entering into the HR workforce or the human resource analytics field. So before going into deep into HR analytics, I think most of the HR would also agree to me that these are the some of the things that is quite familiar with HR. They used to hear in their offices that HR does not get understand the business. HR is not strategic enough. HR does not understand or have the HR analytics. HR is always reinventing the wheel. HR is not a rigorous or disciplined area of the work. With respect to the employee performance measurement, also there are a number of questions that arises, or the assumption of the many people who are not into HR do ask the question that can we measure it all? Because people think that most of the HR works or the performance that is being done is more of a qualitative in the nature, and the qualitative nature of the work cannot be measured. Okay. But we HR knows that yes, everything can be measured. And then the questions may arise that what is relevant to measure, how do we compare and analyze this data, what business decision can we make based on this information. Now to answer all these questions that is there in the HR fraternity, people asking different kinds of questions into the entire arena. Those who are not into HR ask the HR these kinds of question, and at the same time, this question, when asked on a regular interval, do arise in the mind of the HR also. To answer all these questions, the thing that is there quite popular is that we need analytics. Okay, so that arises that when we can we how do we compare and analyze the data or whatever we can do. Okay, the answer is analytics. Now, analytics is basically the interaction between statistics, technology, and the business context that assess the data-driven decision making. It uses advanced statistical and machine learning algorithm to derive the insight from the raw data. So, as far as the overall definition of analytics is concerned, it actually goes into advanced statistics as well as a machine learning algorithm. But as far as business analytics is concerned, or HR being our business, so business HR analytics is concerned, we use different advanced statistical things that is required. So statistics is one of the foremost important thing that is required to be into the part of the analytics, or we can say that analytics is an advanced form of statistics. The calculation is done in case of statistics. What we have been doing is that we have been doing a small number of calculation with a small number of data. But as soon as the data is increasing, we need increased in the computational intensity. Okay. Now, the technology part of the analytics is basically talks about the computational intensity. How fast can we do the calculation of the statistics? Okay. Statistical calculation driven by technology, how fast we can do, and in the context of the business or to solve the business problems. That is what the analytics defines itself. So, human HR analytics or human resource analytics is relatively a new term, first appearing in the HR published literature in 2003-2004. In an article titled HR Matrices and Analytics, Use and Impact of Appearing in the Human Resource Planning, published by the Human Resource Planning Society, Lawler, Lawson, and Baudio in 2004, distinguished HR analytics as separate from the HR matrices. HR matrices are basically a measure of the key HRM outcomes classified as efficiency and effectiveness of the impact. In contrast, Lawler et al. States that HR analytics is not measures but rather represents statistical techniques and experimental approach that can be used to show the impact of HR initiative. Despite this distinction, many HR matrices and HR analytics are still in difference of ambiguity in various literature. Bassi argues that HR analytics can be considered both as the systematical reporting an array of HR matrices or more sophisticated solution based on predictive models and what if scenario. In addition to that, Bassi definitions includes the notation of taking an evidence-based approach to making decisions on people side of the business. She concludes that HR analytics is an evidence-based approach for making better decisions on the people side of the business. It consists of an array of tools and technology ranging from simple reporting of HR matrices all the way up to the predictive modeling. Finally, focusing on the link between strategic HRM, Mondre, Duroit, and Carson defines HR analytics as demonstrating the direct impact of the people on importance of the business outcome. There has been different controversies also that some of the authors has said that HR analytics is a fad. Fads are basically fads. The definitions of the fad is that they are largely insignificant, non-rational swings that comes and go with little or no lasting impact on the language of management techniques and the organization themselves. Uh, they arise from a chance of conjunction of forces that triggers diffusion, largely based on the Wadengon effect and bandwagon effect, and eventually disappear when the inflation expectations for the innovation are not realized. These definitions and labels have different things in common. First is that HR analytics is not HR matrices. It involves more sophisticated analysis of HR related data. Secondly, HR analytics does not focus exclusively on HR functional data and involves integrating from different internal functions and data external to the forms. Thirdly, HR analytics involves using the information technology to collect, manipulate, and report data. Fourth, HR analytics is about supporting the people related decision. Finally, HR analytics is about linking HR decision to business outcome and organizational performance. This fifth component of the definition of HR analytics captures the most compelling aspects of construct and linking it to the strategic HRM literature. HR analytics appears to offer more than HR matrices through its potential to connect HR processes and decisions with organizational performance, which is the avenue of elevating the HRM to having a more strategic role and joining other business functions of the at the strategic table. Again, HR analytics is not about the alignment. It's not about putting the things just in the alignment that everything is going fine. It does not actually is HR analytics is not about gap analysis. HR analytics is not all about correlation. Although correlation is a statistical technique that is being used in HR analytics, but HR analytics by itself incompletely is not only the correlation. Now, let me explain this correlation part a little better so that it can be understood. For most of the HR would also agree to me that when we are talking about if the employees of a particular store or the area in the store in a particular location is motivated, the sale of the particular store is more than in the normal scenario. Okay, so we can say that the motivation of the employees is directly correlated with the total sale of that particular store. But at the same time is possible that the whatever the sale is there, okay, the sale is increasing does not actually has an impact on the motivation of the employees. Okay, so if we look from one side, the correlation of between the employees motivation with vis-a-vis the sale at the store is highly positively correlated. Okay, but at the same time, if we reverse the scenario, that the sale of the store does not actually have a direct impact on the motivation of the employees working in the sales as a salesperson in that particular store. Okay, so but by definition of correlation, what we know that when one of the variable increases, the other variable also increases or decreases. Okay, then we can say it is a positively correlated or a negatively correlated. Okay. But we see that at one side, looking from one angle, it says that there is a direct correlation between the employee motivation and the sale of the store. But from the other angle, it says that sales of the store is not motivation is not actually result of the sale of the store. There can be other factor for the motivation. Okay, and this at the same time, HR analytics is not about benchmarking. Bringing all the definitions that we have discussed during this last in the last few minutes, we can define HR analytics as the practice or the HR practices that enabled by the information technology to use descriptive, visual, and statistical analysis of the data related to HR processes, human capital, organizational performance, and external economic benchmarks to establish the business impact and the data enable the data driven decision making. HR analytics, when first introduced to the organization, will be perceived by those who use it as a new, whether or not the adopting organization is an early adopter or the late to adopt this HRM practices. The second requirement for an innovation is that it is designed to influence the employee's attitude and the behavior. HR analytics is an HRM practices which is designed to provide manager with information that connect HRM processes to employee attitude and behavior and ultimately to the organizational outcome. In practice, HR analytics usually starts with a simple matrices and reporting, which can be developed into more complex descriptive analysis models. Using the simple matrices and reporting is easy, but the degree of intelligence increases when moving towards more complex and analytical model. The first level usually focuses on the improving the organizational performance by basically collecting and organizing the data. This is often easy, but the amount of data and the number of possible data sources increases. The data collecting and reporting also becomes more difficult. Often, some kind of dashboards are used to do this. When they report different information, for example, the degrees of performance, it shows the current situation but does not predict the future. When measuring and learning to understand the current way of doing the thing, a value can be added to improving the efficiency. Slightly more advanced reporting often links about the processes of the organizational goals, which according to Fitch and described in 2010 can be measured as QUIPs. QUIPS. By this, he referred quality, innovation, productivity, and services aspects of the business. With these, the typical and the general objective of the organization can be measured, which are usually set by the top management. By this way, adding values can be demonstrated with concretely. The results of the organization can also be compared with the other. That is in order to do this, the data from the other organization need to be collected to do the comparison, and in this way the accurately and utility of the results greatly depends upon the quality of the data collected. The fourth aspects, or the upper level, again for the future oriented, which is analyzed by why something is happening and is likely to continue. These levels also include the different predictive model as the optimization. Generally, these analytical tools can be classified into different types, or what we can call as the descriptive, predictive, or prescriptive analysis. The first type is the descriptive analytics, in which the aim is to comprehend the past behavior and the outcomes, and to examine and describe the relationship and the pattern. It also enables the distinguishing the trends of the past and makes the comparison over time or with others. The focus in this level is usually on the cost reduction and on the process improvement. Examples of descriptive analytics can be the dashboard and the scorecard, data visualization, OLAP report, periodic report, and the basic data mining. Second type of analysis of the predictive analysis, which tries to predict the future by using the historical and the current data. The focus is on the probabilities and the potential impact. According to Fagent, predicting the future depends upon four things: understanding the past and the current events, trends and drivers behind them, ability to see the pattern of consistency but also the change, and having the right tool to predict the probability of something in the future. By using the data and the description made by the past trends and the pattern, the analytics tries to predict the future by giving the meanings to the pattern. This can be done by different techniques, for example, statistics, modeling, and data mining. Examples of predictive analytics are decision tree, card, genetic algorithm, and neural network. The third type of analytics is the prescriptive analytics, which is about the decision options and the workforce optimization. It analyzes the complex data, provides information about the possible decision alternatives and the possible outcome. One example of the prescriptive analytics to be the is the to, could be the attrition model, which describes the likelihood of the employee resignation. Examples of prescriptive analytics are mathematical programming and simulations. The different steps and the types of analytics described can be viewed in relationship with adding the values. The if in the lower level, the process of the collecting the interpretation of the data are easy, and the upper level also, but also relatively values increases with proceeding from the level to level. The measured value can be described into financial or economic value. Financial value refers, for example, to the cash to increase share values. Economic values again refers to the non-financial matters, for example, the market reputation, customer satisfaction, or value place of work. Davenport has identified six main ways of HR analytics are currently used in practices. They are distinguished vary in the terms of sophistication. HR capital facts, the selecting them and monitoring the key indicators of the human capital. The organization that are aligned to that is one of the organization, that is JetBlue. Crew members net promoter score to analyze, they actually collect the crew members net promoter score to analyze engagement and predict financial performance. Analytical HR that identifies the units of individual in the organization need most attention. MIT uses the electronic badges for employees to track their interaction with the co-workers in order to identify factors for successful team and leaders. Human capital investment analysis, which what action that can be of the greatest impact to the business done by followed in Cisco. that tracks the satisfaction level of the delivery associate to improve the retention rate. And Google analyzes the attributes to the great manager. Workforce analytic for workforce forecasting, known to when to staff or cut back. Okay, that predicts the future headcounts on the basis of industry trends and make a what if scenario. Talent value models to know why the employee leaves or stay, basically to predicting the propensity to leave the organization, or we can say the flight rate. That is the general term used by most of the HR analytics professionals. And finally, the talent supply chain, how to adopt the business environment change to the employees. Then it talks about the retail companies that predicts incoming call center values in order to manage its employee the capacity. Davenport it all also noted that almost every organization they studied emphasized the employee engagement, but only a few of the organizations were assessing what this with the specific measures in the term of money and the cost. Most of the organizations focused on the academic record while recruiting, but often very few organizations use more complex analytics to predict the high performance on the job. These examples might indicate the fact that many organizations still using the traditional way of measuring the HRM, but also some expectations can be found that are linking to the more specific and the customized measuring. It should be noted that this is likely to be greatly depending upon the company size, the size of the investment in the technology. Many SMEs are still using Excel sheet for basic analytics, and some of the tools in Excel are basic Excel they are using, but at the same time Excel is also very advanced in using being used as the HR analytical tool for the technology part. Now, talking about so much about HR analytics, the advantage of the HR analytics, it's also prerequisite to understand why actually why does the HR analytics actually works. RL and colleagues argues that the companies which uses the combination of pay for performance, human capital management software, and HR analytics are more productive because of the combination allows the manager to align incentives and monitor the employee behavior. Using a panel sample of 189 firms, level data collected for 5 years from 1995 to 2006, they show that the firms with the combination and the capabilities and resources were significantly more productive, particularly Particularly distinctive about the studies, the author exploited the longitudinal nature of the data to establish a cause and effect relationship such that having all the three factors produces subsequently higher firms level productivity. Moreover, they have also found that HR analytics alone did not enhances the productivity. Only in combination with the HR's information technology or in combination with the software and pay performance does HR analytics predict productivity. Although Arter in it all uses the agency theory to the explanatory framework that results into the consistency of the strategic HRM ability, motivation factor, and the organizational theory. Companies that hires individuals that have the ability and provide the motivation and opportunity to perform their job well will perform better than their rivals, which do not have this combination. Now, there are what are the outcomes of? Let's discuss about the outcomes of the HR analytics. Most of the articles available provides strong evidences for a cause and effect relationship between HR analytics and the financial performance. However, Harris and et al. Note that this efficiency outcomes, example giving cost of saving for the HR processes, are unlikely to result in the business impact because administrative costs typically only represent 3% of the company's selling general and the administrative expenses. So no amount of saving uh, wrong from the came out from reducing the HR administrative expenses is likely to have the impact on the business performance. Though through the use of HR analytics, Lowe's was able to establish that the highly engaged employee leads to 4% average customer ticket sales per store. Harris et al. Provides high level of case studies examples to illustrate the six analytical tools that argues the HR analytics and link them to the business impact. For example, they describe how Google uses HR analytics to predict employee performance using their applicants database. Cisco uses HR analytics to establish the causal link between the work climate survey, delivery driver employee satisfaction, customer loyalty, and higher revenue. Finally, a couple of studies documents that the low level of HR analytics diffusion across the company, which is surprisingly given the early, albeit surpassed, evidence supports a causal link between HR analytics and the business outcome. Fatela conducted a survey to determine the use of HR analytics across the Fortune 1000 firms. Within a sample of 220 firms, Fatela reported that 15% of the respondents claimed HR analytics played a central role in determining or implementing the HR strategies. Further, HR analytics primarily consisted only of analyzing the employee survey data. Lawler et al. And Lawler and Baudio reports that the results of the survey of more than 100 Fortune 500 companies, suggesting less than a third of the reports suggest that these companies have HR analytics that measures the relationship between HR processes and the people and the business impact. This ratio is low, particularly considering the survey shows that 70% of the HR matrices to establish how efficiency and the HR processes. Clearly, this appears to be the disconnect between the persuasive evidences on the positive business impact and the business adopted and implement HR analytics. Results addressing our next question would suggest the suggest the factor. Now, what are the reason behind why? What are the moderating factor if that affects the analytical outcomes? Assuming that whosoever are taking the courses, this course on HR analytics is actually interested in HR analytics and getting into deep into the HR analytics. For those, this moderating factor for HR analytics outcomes is very important. There are three important requirements or moderators for the HR analytical success. These are having the HR professional analytical skills, gaining managerial buy-in, and having the HR information technology. The most frequently cited reason for that the HR analytics is not widely adopted is the shortage of analytically skilled HR professional. Bassi predict that it is the absence of necessary IT acumen or financial skills. The HR function will inevitably cede the responsibility for analytics, and both the IT and the finance functions will be taking care of that. Ergevitol has echoed the concern about, that raises another problem. He says that if the HR is not fully involved in modeling process, there is a significantly greater scope for the model to be constructed in a way which is fundamentally misunderstood by the nature of the human capital inputs with the process of production and service delivery. Instead of recognizing the flexibility of the labor, that productivity and performance changes with the skills, motivation, and the design of the people process interaction, labor is modeled as a fixed cost that need to be controlled. Unless analytics is embedded in a full and comprehensive analytical model, the more limited information is available in the dashboard format, which may be misunderstood by the operational and the financial manager with limited patience for understanding the HR. Thus, not only does the lack of the analytical skill appear to be embedded and uptake of the HR analytics, within the companies, there is a concern that should HR analytics is adopted, it will not be in controlled by the HR professional but by the other who may misinterpret or misspecify the analysis. The implication is that not only with HR professional miss an opportunity to develop a competency that improves their strategic decision making and the impact on the organizational performance, but also it is maybe a problematic for society in that employees and employment opportunity may be negatively impacted. In contrast, Bourdieu and his colleagues have argued that an appropriate collaboration between HR leader and the functional expert in the disciplines such as finance, operation, marketing, and engineering may be the key to developing the logical framework of HR analytics that can be engaged key decision makers and connect more clearly to the organization. Leveson identifies that specific analytical competences need for HR professional to perform HR analytics effectively. There are basic data analysis, intermediate data analysis, basic multivariate model, advanced multivariate model, data preparation, root cause analysis, research design, survey design, quantitative data collection and analysis. According to the survey of HR analytical professional, he and his colleague collected, however, that the higher level of statistical and skill needed to establish the business impact are not in high demand. The bad news is that even at this low level of demand, there is inadequate supply. That is why most of the HR and statistical techniques, statistics is the fundamental for HR analytics and need to be one of the important ingredient for the HR analytical performance. Less than one third of the HR analytic professional reported having the complete in advanced multivariate statistics, and that proportion drops to even 3% when only consider HR professional not specifically hired for HR analytics. Ramson and Ulrich argues that in addition to a shortage of the technical skill, recent evidence suggests that chief human resource officers with a clear business focus are also in short supply. The second requirement for the HR analytics is to be successful in politically based. In order for HR professional to gain access to the cross functional data needed to perform their analysis, managers from other function must be willing to provide access and that also to be involved in the process. In addition, HR professional must build credibility among the senior managers who may not believe data-driven decisions. Ramson and Ulrich observed that there is a tendency to reject the data that threatens existing belief. When new data suggests personal beliefs are misguided, people choose their belief system and reject the data. In order to overcome such resistance, those involved in HR analytics must involve key stakeholders in this process ahead of conducting the analysis. Some authors have described how HR teams in the home improvement retail went to greater length in order to build the trust and buy-in for their HR analytics project for senior manager and those outside the HR function. Thus, introducing an HR innovation such as HR analytics into organization involves acknowledging the role of the resistance to change and resistant to abandoning the predominant role of intuition in the managerial decision making. Finally, several articles noted that the importance of human resource information system or the human capital software. There has been several studies that demonstrate the empirical that the companies with the HR analytics but without HR human capital software shows no performance impact. The other studies indicates, however, that the information technology can be both as enormous enablers and insignificant impediment to the HR analytics. As an enabler, conceptually, HRM, IT, EHRM should be captured, stored, and make accessible the data from the cross company functions and procedure reports uh, that matches the promises. Those companies performing the HR analytics appears to be conducting these analysis despite HRM ITs rather than the way to sell more products and investment. It is improved functionality and the ability to integrate the disparate data. But for now, it appears that the promises is the push button initiative of the HRM analytics. Undoubtedly, there are many blogs, white papers, consulting reports, and testimonials available for decision making, but it appears to say that the decision makers hoping to draw upon the high quality peer reviewed scholarly work will find very few studies available. It also is notable that the vast majority of the articles on the listed journals appeared in only one journal, that People and Studies, a journal aimed to intersection between the interest of the practitioners, consultants, and academicians. The small number of articles available on HR analytics suggests that we are still at a very early stage of attention of the management professional community. The even smaller number of articles appearing in the scholarly publication suggests that the management scholars have shown even less interest in examining the incidents and the consequences of the HR analytics. HR analytics for the role of HR analytics has for the role of HRM plays in the organization and the HR profession. In light of some evidences of positive correlation, the HR analytics and the organizational effectiveness and the impact are detailed in the integrative reviews. Broadly, there are two notable paradoxes. First is that despite the popularity of the HR analytics, there is a limited high quality scientific evidence based research on this topic. The second paradox is that perhaps related to first paradox, it is apparently limited the adoptions of HR analytics when the available research seems frequently to suggest that is associated with the positive organizational outcome. Saying so, the fundamental requirement as we started for HR analytics is the understanding of the statistics. That is one of the most important thing. Understanding the business scenario, the relationship is one of the other important thing, and the third is the technology part, or the that technology is basically talking about the computational intensity. Do not I would request all the participants taking up the course is not to correlate technology with a programming language. Technology in case of analytics is the computational intensity. Computational intensity in refers to the high degree of the data analysis that can be done on the particular software. Depending upon the size of the organization, the different tools can be used. Excel is one of the finest tool, and the number of data can be analyzed on that. Depending upon the bigger size of the organization, other programming languages or statistical languages can be learned upon.